Boys, we have been blessed because the anime adaptation for Solo Leveling is out. But before we get into it, some fair warning, I am a huge manhwa fan and have read hundreds of manhwas, so obviously I read the entirety of Solo Leveling, but I will not be spoiling any of it in this video. That being said, let's dice it up a bit because I got a lot to say about this adaptation. So I'm about 9 episodes in while recording this video, and to be honest, I did not originally have too high of expectations for this anime. The manhwa is a classic and might even be in my top 10 all-time comics, but the problem is that it's being produced by A1 Pictures, which isn't a bad studio necessarily. Like, they have made some masterpieces, but when you start to look at their action genre productions, well, they ain't looking too good. But I gotta say, I'm pretty pleasantly surprised. How the hell did the studio making goddamn Sword Art Online animate something this good? Them animators are cooking. Like, the first 2 episodes, for example, are literally insane. And don't get me wrong, the manhwa version is pretty crazy too. But in the manhwa, for example, Shawty right here gets crushed, and the next panel, all you see is her blood under the giant's foot, which is still like, bruh, she dead. But in the anime, when she gets crushed, you literally get to see her body get folded in like a damn accordion while blood spurts out her eyes and neck. And this ain't the only scene where the gore is expanded upon in the anime, which is why, when it comes to the action, the anime is just all around, in my opinion, better. Episode 3 wasn't too different from the manhwa. Bro gets gaslighted into thinking he awakened, he gets scammed, then he realized he actually scammed the hunters, and now he's on his way to a dungeon. Now we in episode 4, and there aren't like a lot of changes, but I will say, somebody at A1 Pictures got beef with Jinwoo because they trying to make this dude look like a bum. Okay, like, just look at this panel from the manhwa. Take a good look. Now look at this anime scene. Like, bro, you gotta be kidding me. Once again, though, the action was crazy in the anime. Like, me personally, I was sitting there going, hey, bro, why you putting all your points in strength? But after seeing dude choke out a giant snake like he John Jones, I quickly decided I am not built for that world. Another thing I noticed is when dude was fighting those metal-plated mutts, he was getting a level per fodder dog, and now he beats the boss and only gets a measly 3 levels. What the hell is that? Episode 5 makes up for all of Jinwoo's missed effort though, because instead of getting rewarded with levels, bro gets rewarded with bitches. Not even 2 seconds into the episode, girls already talking about bro and asking for his number. And low-key, that's for a reason. Because after 1 night of sleep, Jinwoo literally went through an entire skeletal reconstruction. Who is this man, bro? And why is nobody questioning that after 1 night he looks completely different and is built as hell? Like, he goes home to see his sister and she's just like, haha, you grew a little taller, Jinwoo. No, the fuck he didn't, bro. He went from a scrawny weakling to growing 2 feet and putting on hella muscle mass. That is not normal. Identity fraud has gotta be insanely easy in this universe, cause these people are dumb as rocks. Episode 6 is an episode that really made me start to like this anime though, because Jinwoo takes on a dungeon with Jeff Bezos' kid and a bunch of totally not suspicious individuals. And it turns out, the non-suspicious individuals are in fact suspicious and trap Jinwoo and Jeff Bezos' kid to fight a giant spider alone. Sadly for the suspicious individuals though, Jinwoo got that dog in him and completely obliterates the spider, then goes on to decimate them. This scene was hard too. Like, they played some TikTok ass deep music behind it and everything. Dude went ballistic, just no mercy chopping off heads. This was also a big turning point to show how Jinwoo is slowly losing his humanity, and I'm happy they left it in. Unlike later on when they remove some important stuff, but we'll get to that later. In episode 7, Jinwoo goes to take on a S-rank dungeon, even though he just had trouble with a C-rank dungeon, and surprise surprise, he got obliterated at the very beginning. But I will say, this fight with Cerberus was way better in the anime, which is a really good sign for future fights. In episode 8, nothing really happens, and I can't talk about the stuff that does happen on YouTube, so let's finally talk about episode 9. And this episode was heat. The fights were amazing and super dark, and don't even get me started on the murderous intent skill. Murderous intent and stealth were both done so perfectly, I'd say they easily surpassed the manhwa, and to be honest, I don't see how anyone could not be hyped during this scene. They even included a little Dragon Ball homage to Akira Toriyama. Rest in peace. But in return, A1 Pictures missed heavily on the brutalness and missed out on possibly the most important scene during the entire dungeon. So in the manhwa, after killing Kang the assassin dude, Jinwoo finds out that one of the prisoners was faking their death and was still alive. Jinwoo then takes the prisoner to the final boss of the dungeon and watches as he gets eaten alive and shredded to pieces by goblins. Not only was this scene sick as hell, but it is very important to something later on in the show, and it truly shows how much Jinwoo has changed. I just hope they show it in episode 10, because if they don't, they are tripping. But hey, if you like this video, please subscribe, and if you read the manhwa, let me know how you feel about its adaptation, because overall, I think it's very good, it's just a tad rushed. Anyway, like the vid, sub, appreciate y'all, deuce.